Thought you lads might be wearing your poppies.
Why, we should be, shouldn't we? We should all be wearing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on my jacket, John. I've got one.
Yeah.
The trouble is I'll probably not be going out of the house for anybody to see it.
That's true, yeah. What they're doing on Sunday? Are they clapping on doorsteps or something like that? Are there any ceremonies at all? They're socially distanced.
I don't think so.
There was going to be some, but
yeah.
The church services have stopped the funerals, so I imagine Remembrance Day parades have been limited by people.
I think there is wreath laying in Barker's Pool.
Is there?
I believe so. Yeah.
That's good. Are you playing there,
Chris?
My understanding is that that remembrance ceremonies are not prohibited. It's down to local councils and whether or not they can guarantee that they are socially distanced. If they can't do that, then they can't hold them. But if they can do an outdoor socially distanced, my understanding is that they can go ahead. They're not prohibited.
We don't want any Trump rallies.
No, indeed not.
That's amazing.
The smaller ones probably could. It's the big main ones where they'd have problems, isn't it?
Yeah. But people who go to those sort of things, Ron, genuinely use their common sense, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about respect.
They value life.
Yes. Well said.
I was planning to walk round to the Mosborough one on Sunday.
Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar.
Where do they have them? Where do they have the Mosborough one? Lol. Ron, sorry.
The church on High Street.
Where,
War
sorry?
memorials in the church. The church on High Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might see
more or less opposite Herrings.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see you there, Ron. Socially distanced.
You might be interested to know that I've just spent 3 months collating a roll of honour of all the Cranwell cadets and airmen who were trained during the war who lost their lives. 1,180. It's the first time that list has ever been derived. They tried to derive a list of the cadets and they came up with a figure of 477, which was impossible. But I found out there were actually 388 flight cadets who lost their lives through one of the commands, bomber, fighter, coastal, overseas. And I've actually got listed how they lost their lives, the aircraft they were flying, the circumstances and what have you, because there are people out there who do a lot of research. And if you ever get a chance to visit Lincoln, to the International Bomber Command Center, they've listed all the people who lost their lives in Bomber Command operations. Well, I've been able to extract the one. It is brilliant. I think it's very moving and is a tribute that is worthy of the individuals. So the commandant was confronted with 1,180 names, which he's now reviewing to see if she can have them displayed on Sunday. But we'll see.
Excellent. Well done.
Well done, Ian.
Well done. Yep. Right. Okay. So we'll move on. If in case you've not noticed, I've managed to christen Doug this morning. So, yeah, Doug the garden. Yeah, we all do that at least once a year. So we'll move on swiftly on to LOL's News of the Month.
I've chosen some old, some new, some borrowed, but nothing blue because Ian's recording. Now, first of all, Frank Boff. Former TV presenter Frank Boff has died at the age of 87. He presented Sportsview between 1964 and 68. Also in 1964, he became the presenter of BBC's Sports Review of the Year, which he hosted for 18 years. Between 1968 and 83, he was the regular host of BBC's flagship Saturday afternoon sports programme, Grandstand. Over a long broadcasting career, Boff became renowned for his smooth, relaxed approach to live broadcasts. Once
Like
being
yourself,
described
Lol.
as the most unassailable performer on British television.
Yeah.
Boff went on to present the early evening programme nationwide through the 70s, and in January 83 became the first presenter of BBC's inaugural breakfast TV programme Breakfast Time. But in 1988 he was sacked by the BBC after the News of the World reported he had taken cocaine, he'd worn ladies' lingerie at sex parties and visited brothels. Well, haven't we all?
Exactly.
I've heard Keith looks very nice in his basque and his stockings, but that's another story.
He doesn't, Lol. I can tell you he doesn't.
I was going to say his after broadcast parties were infamous, but
Basking in his morning glory, was he?
Well, a bit on tennis now. Now, ex-tennis champion Boris Becker has appeared in court accused of failing to hand over trophies from his playing days so they could be sold to pay his debts. The 3 times Wimbledon winner was declared bankrupt in 2017 over money he owed to a bank. He is accused of not complying with obligations to disclose information. Becker has denied all 28 charges against him at a hearing in Southern Crown Court in London. Now, boxing. Sheffield's Carl Brook is preparing to face WBO welterweight champion Terence Crawford with a trainer he met on Instagram. 34-year-old Brook challenges American Crawford, who is unbeaten in 36 bouts, on the 14th of November in Las Vegas. Brook is not working with regular trainer Dominic Ingle because of the coronavirus, and instead will have Carlos Fomento in his corner. He's a guy I followed on Instagram because I like his style, says Brook. Now, nip on to cricket. Now, legendary Indian cricketer Kapil Dev has undergone heart surgery at a hospital in India's capital, Delhi, after complaining of chest pains. 61-year-old Dev, who was admitted to hospital 19 days ago, was discharged 2 days after the operation. Dev, who captained India's World Cup winning team in 1983, was named by Wisden in 2002 as the Indian Cricketer of the Century. That's some accolade, isn't it, for him?
Yeah.
Now, more than 130 items from Sir Jeff Boycott, including the bat he used to score his 100th century in 1977, are being sold in an online auction. The lots follow his career and include a scorebook from his debut for Ackworth in West Yorkshire when he was 13. Christie's said the famous bat is estimated to bring between £30,000 and £50,000. And the auction also includes bats signed by Ian Botham and David Gower. Now, cricket legend James Anderson is to get a street named after him in his hometown of Burnley to honour his achievement of being the first fast bowler to take 600 wickets in Test cricket.
Well, he'd
He has
already got a
already been
shelter
made.
named after him.
Pardon?
Yeah.
I said he'd already got a shelter named after him, hadn't he?
An Anderson shelter.
This particular street tends to swing, doesn't it?
and Dave the Beard's got a wood named after him. Yeah,
Well, you tell me.
yeah. You know the tram stop at
Tumbleweed, yeah.
Tumbleweed. Tram stop at Crystal Peaks. Well, there's a new wood behind that, and that's known as Bates Wood, at least in our house anyway, because Dave was a prime mover in stopping the development that would have ruined the green space for everyone.
Well
Well,
done.
that's fantastic.
Well done.
That's
done.
fantastic. Yeah.
Teamwork it was. Teamwork.
Yeah. Well done, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long
How many
rambling
rounds-
story from Keith, but well done, Dave.
How many rounds of ammunition did you use?
About 6 years worth to get it done.
Good for you.
Well done, mate. Well done.
And I have to say that we actually got good support from our local MP, Mr. Betts. So,
Good old Clive.
Always said you were a good bloke.
Did you have to live in a tree for 6 months?
No, an Anderson shelter.
Come on, lol.
Well, going back to Anderson, he's already been made a freeman of the borough in the Lancashire town. Now that's, bear with me.
He's
Bit of
doing a
rugby union.
Bulgarian trick.
Now, legendary Wales, British and Irish Lions wing J.J. Williams has died aged 72. He scored 12 tries in 30 tests as Wales won 5 nations titles, including 2 Grand Slams during the 1970s. He was a former sprinter who represented Wales at the Commonwealth Games. Williams also scored 5 tries in 7 tests for the Lions across 2 tours. He sparkled on their unbeaten tour of South Africa in 1974, scoring 2 tries in each of the second and the third tests. After retiring, he made a name for himself as an outspoken pundit, co-commentating on international and club rugby for BBC Wales. At Exeter, they beat Wasps 1913 to win their second Premiership title at Twickenham 10 days ago. The game, played in torrential rain, saw each side score 1 try each, but the 4 penalties scored by Joe Simmons proved decisive for the Chiefs. It also gave them a historic European and domestic double after they beat French club Racing 92 in the Heineken Champions Cup final the previous week. England, last weekend, they won the Six Nations after France beat Ireland in a thrilling final day of the delayed tournament. England claimed a bonus point win as they beat Italy 34-5 in Rome, but faced a tense wait as both teams in the day's final fixture attempted to take the title. England's first title since 2017 was confirmed when France beat Ireland 35-27 in Paris. Ireland would have had to take the crown if they had beaten France by 6 points or more. In the other game, Scotland beat Wales 14-10 in Clonelly, and it was the Scots' first win in Wales for 18 years.
In where, lol?
Llanelli.
Do you mean Laneley?
Llanelli.
Laneley.
I was just testing. I'm only testing. You know that, don't you?
I can't believe how poor Wales were.
Yeah,
Watch that game. I can't believe how
Yeah.
poor they were.
dire.
Do you think it's unfair that all 3 games don't kick off at the same time on the final Saturday?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It's unfair, but it's all arranged for television, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it is. It is. I know
Well,
why
Ireland-
they do it. Just
well, I
to-
knew what they got to do. They were winning at one time, but still lost.
Yeah. How many did France have to win by to take the title?
32
Millions. They got to
points.
get
A
millions.
lot.
32 points.
Well,
All right.
They got their bonus point for the 4th
Yeah.
try, but they still needed a difference of 32 points.
Yeah.
That, and they only knew that, taking up Paul's point, because England had already played earlier.
That's right.
It just shows you what the French will do to keep hold of the fish, doesn't it?
God help us.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, mate.
I've got a
Bloody
haddock.
hell,
I've got a
It
haddock.
gets worse.
I'll know my
There's a
place.
place- there's a
You've
place
done
for
me like a
everything.
kipper.
Oh.
I bet you've missed this, Lynn, haven't you?
It's
Yeah.
a red herring.
Yeah,
isn't
can you
it? Get on
can
with
you
it.
tell?
He's doing a crossword.
We never have a crossword.
Haven't got time.
Cross dress, maybe.
Get
Yeah.
your skates on,
Discussed that
Lol.
already.
Right, which have more to sport.
Come on, Lol, get a move on.
Come on.
Right,
You never get it finished, will you?
Formula One world champion Nico Rosberg is putting his own team in the upcoming Extreme E racing series. The off-road series has attracted several leading names, including six-time Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton. Rosberg Extreme Racing is the 9th team to sign up to race in 5 remote locations across the world to raise awareness of climate change. Extreme E will be broadcast live across the BBC. Now, for those of you who don't know, they're going to take drivers in a series of races in all electric cars through harsh terrains in remote locations across the globe where areas have been hardest hit by the climate change. Now, the calendar, the
And where
first
there are
one
no
is in
charging
March.
points.
Saudi Arabia, that represents the desert. Senegal in May, the ocean. Greenland in August, the Arctic. Brazil in October, the rainforest. And Argentina in December, the glaciers. Any thoughts on that? All electric cars?
They'll be lucky to find any way to race in Greenland, won't they?
Well, that's where they're going to do it.
Be Santa Claus on a Formula One car.
I've only got a little bit on football today, but I've also done a little tribute to Nobby Stiles, which I'll finish off with. A former France goalkeeper and goalkeeping coach Bruno Martini has died at age 58 after a cardiac arrest. He played 31 times for France, most notably at Euro 1992, and he was their goalkeeper coach between 1999 and 2010, during which time France won Euro 2000 and were World Cup runners-up in 2006. He played 139 times for Auxerre and 113 times for Montpellier. Now in Holland, a couple of weeks ago, Ajax set up an Eredivisie record when they scored 13 goals past VVV Venlo to top the Dutch league. The previous record was also held by Ajax when they beat Vitesse 12-1 in 1972. The star of the show for the away team was 19-year-old Lassina Traore, who scored 5 and made 3 assists. Ajax were 4-0 up when Venlo were reduced to 10 men after their captain, Christian Cum, was sent off on VAR review for a high boot. What followed was an 8-goal blast in 24 second-half minutes. They could have had a lot more, but for Venlo's goalkeeper making 10 good saves. And this took place 3 days after Ajax failed to score against Liverpool in the Champions League.
Did you say Ajax were away from home?
We're away from home, yes.
Wow.
Fantastic result.
Just, well,
Shows you the lower quality of some of these leagues, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey,
Well,
we had
well,
there was a
be
9-0
great,
in Premier
but,
League last season.
yeah.
There was a 9-0.
Well, that's
while
true.
you mention VAR, did anyone catch the interview that Pep Guardiola did at the weekend? Where I think it was Pep. It was either Pep or Jose Mourinho. Either one of them said they were asked about VAR or something to do with it, and they said, "I want my football back."
No, that was Jose Mourinho said that.
Yeah.
He said,
Jose Mourinho.
"Yeah, want goal line technology, but I want my football back," and he's dead right.
Although, Keith, interesting to see the last 2 matches where VAR was called in, the referee made the decision. You know, he went to look at the screen. That's
Yeah,
happening more now.
Even though he got it wrong.
Yeah.
He still got it wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still good.
But he could have got it on wrong on the field. But the point is,
Yeah.
they're giving the power back to the referee, which is,
Yeah.
I think, right.
Well, they are and they're not. To me, they now fall in between the two stools. I think they've got to get rid of it because people are absolutely fed up to the back teeth of it.
Well, it is costing.
They'll not get rid of it because
money.
FIFA won't get rid of it.
Well, I think
They're stuck with it, aren't they?
I think there was a match yesterday when VAR called about a minute and a half after the event happened,
That's right.
when the referee's attention was attracted to it.
That's right. It took Stockley Park over a minute to make a decision to tell the referee, I think you better. They should have said, we're not sure about this immediately. Go and have a look. Took them a minute and a half. Carry on, lol. I can see you.
Okay. Now, Barnsley, they've named former Crystal Palace defender Valérien Ismail as their new manager. Born in France, the 45-year-old, who now has German citizenship, has replaced Gerhard Struber on a 3-year deal. At the weekend, it was announced that England and Manchester United legend Bobby Charlton has been diagnosed with dementia. The news follows the deaths of older brother Jack in July and Nobby Stiles last Friday, both of whom had dementia. He spent 17 years at Old Trafford before finishing his career with spells at Preston and Irish side Waterford. Now, at the weekend in the local results, it was an unusual set of results at the weekend because all finished in 6 games at a 1-0 scoreline. Barnsley, Doncaster and Chesterfield winning, and the Blades, Owls and Millers all losing. Now, can anybody ever remember this happening before, where 1-0 was the score in all 6 local games? Has it ever happened before?
Probably.
Probably, but I can't remember it.
No. I believe, was Chesterfield's a
No.
cup match?
Yes.
And that's got to be replayed, hasn't it? 'Cause
No.
they played-
No.
No, that was a league game.
I thought it was, but they've
That
got to
was a
play a
league
replay a
game,
cup
yeah.
match, haven't they? They played a player that shouldn't be have played or something.
Yeah, they're playing it tomorrow night.
Who played? They
Who
should
played a
play.
foreign player?
Chesterfield played a player who was on loan from Burnley, apparently.
Yeah.
A friend of mine who was a Chesterfield fan was telling me about it.
So
So
I
they
couldn't-
didn't register him properly to play. He could have played if he'd been registered properly.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
They should throw him out.
Yeah.
You would have thought so.
Really?
Yeah.
Right, come to the last item now. About Nobby Stiles. Now, World Cup winning England midfielder Nobby Stiles has died aged 78 after a long illness. The former Man U player who had prostate cancer and advanced dementia is the 7th member of the World Cup team who started the final in 1966 to pass away. He was born in the cellar of the family terraced home in Collyhurst, Manchester, during a heavy air raid in May 1942.
Wasn't it an Anderson shelter? Sorry. Sorry.
His father, Charlie, ran his own funerals business, and Mother Kitty worked as a machinist in a factory to supplement the family income. Nobby remembers the house being full of candles and all other undertaking paraphernalia from his father's business. At the age of 1, he was hit on the head by a tram as he toddled out of a bakery. He survived, but he was left with a permanent scar on his forehead. Did somebody say something then?
I
The
just
tram was a
I'm
write-off.
astounded that he'd been hit on the head by a tram.
I know.
It's a write-off.
Tram or a tramp?
He lost his front teeth in a juvenile fight, and he had false teeth the rest of his life. He once confessed to stealing lead from roofs of old buildings, but more for adventure than making money. He was good at all sports, especially cricket and boxing, but his football skills were obvious from an early age. His first games were played with his mates, in a local cemetery on flattened headstones. While still at school, he was signed by Manchester United as an apprentice in 1959 and made his league debut as a fullback against Bolton at 18 in October 1960. He also played for England schoolboys when he was 15. Styles went on to play 395 matches, scoring 19 goals for the Reds, before he was sold to Middlesbrough for £20,000 in 1971. 2 years later, he became player coach at Preston, when Bobby Charlton was their manager. He went on to manage Preston from 77 to 81. Then he crossed the Atlantic to manage Vancouver Whitecaps in Canada from 81 to 84, before returning to England, where he managed West Brom from 85 to 86. Later, suffering financial problems and depression, he contemplated suicide in 1989. In fact, he was humiliated when his bank card was rejected, as he had insufficient funds in his account to pay for petrol he just put into his car. Shortly afterwards, Alex Ferguson gave him the job of youth team coach, which he did from 89 to 93. And he developed the skills of teenagers Beckham, Giggs, Scholes, Nicky Butt, and the Neville brothers, Gary and Phil. He was sacked by Manchester United after he was given an office job. He wasn't up to it. And he went on to earn a living as an after-dinner speaker. He was made an MBE in 2000, and he had a heart attack in 2002. But in 2010, his main source of income dramatically reduced when he was suffered a stroke. This caused him to sell his World Cup and his European Cup winners' medals at auction to help his finances. Manchester United paid £160,000 for his World Cup and £49,000 for his European Cup winning medals at this auction in October 2010. In November 2013, it was announced Styles had prostate cancer. And in 2016, another announcement revealed he was suffering from advanced vascular dementia. Also having Alzheimer's, it meant he was unable to speak or to recognise his family towards the end of his life. His widow, Kay, is the sister of Irishman Johnny Giles, who was Nobby's best pal when he was at Manchester United before being transferred to Leeds. That's the end of the Nobby Styles tribute. Okay.
Yeah, very good.
I'll hand you back to Keith.
Right, well, thank you. Did any of you actually meet Nobby? I met him at a couple of dinners, but that's all. Oh, you met him?
He came to speak at our school. We had, for 3 years, we used to run a fundraising evening where we would get 3 different sports personalities. And one of the evenings, it was Nobby Styles with Matt Dawson and Freddie Flintoff. Nobby Styles, well, all 3 of them were excellent. Yeah, really good night.
What a lineup, yeah.
Very nice guy.
I mean, one of the things I remember is that I'd never heard of anybody called Norbert, but there were 2 of them in the Manchester United team at the same time.
There were, yeah. Was it Norbert? Was it Nobby Lawton, the other one?
Nobby Lawton, yeah.
Yeah.
He was one of the players that they signed after the Munich disaster, I believe. And if I remember right, Nobby Lawton that season had already played for somebody in the FA Cup, but the FA gave him permission to also play for Manchester United in the FA Cup. I think.
Yeah, they suspended the cup tie rule for Man U that season, didn't they?
Yeah.
He told the story of when they were preparing for the World Cup. I think it was just before the semi-final. The England team were training in Hyde Park, as you do when you're training for a semi-final. And Alf Ramsey called Nobby Styles over and he said, "Nobby, have you seen that little dog over there?" Nobby says, "Yeah." He says, "What's happening?" He says, "Well, the dog's going and fetching the stick and he's bringing it back to its owner." He said, "Nobby, You are that little dog. I want you to go and get the ball and bring it and give it to Bobby Charlton. That's your job.
Brilliant.
The other story
And he
they
told that story about himself.
The other story that's rebroadcast was when Alf Ramsey, for the semi-final, said to Nobby in the changing room, said, "Now, Nobby, I want you to mark Eusebio."
Yeah.
And Nobby thought for a while and says, "What, just for the match or for life?"
He told that one as well.
Yeah.
And he was
I
only
think he
5
seems
foot
to be a typical example of somebody who, off the football pitch, is a really nice bloke. On the pitch, couldn't stand him, hated him.
No,
You know,
awful.
no, I'm
He was
not
awful.
talking about as a World Cup player. I'm talking about as a Manchester United player, because he was
Yeah.
a nasty piece of work.
George
But as a
Morris.
bloke, seems to be a really good bloke.
Yeah.
There's a few of those about.
Yeah, Johnny Giles,
Amazing how there's a transition.
Billy
Boris,
Bremner, a lot
Boris
of them played
Setters,
for
he was a
Bertha
nasty
Lee.
sort.
Trevor Hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently,
I can never believe that Johnny Giles is a nice bloke.
No, I find that difficult to take on board.
Or Billy
Yeah.
Bremner.
apparently
Oh,
they
definitely not.
used to call Nobby Styles happy because he never stopped moaning.
Yeah.
And he was also extremely accident prone due to his short-sightedness. Bobby Charlton tells a story. He said, Nobby walked straight in, didn't like the curtains. So he tried to open the curtains and pulled the lot down. He said, I'll go and put the radio on. He turned the wall radio on and the radio fell off the wall. He then walked into the bathroom and wanted to adjust the mirror, but headbutted the shelf in front of it and brought the whole cabinet down. He said within 3 minutes, he totally destroyed our room without even trying.
Another story about Nobby Styles. It was an England football banquet, and he thought the napkin was the edge of the tablecloth, so it was his napkin, and he tried to tuck the tablecloth in his skirt, and all the glasses and cutlery went flying. Did he tell you that one?
No.
No, but he did call himself the half-blind dwarf.
Who do you think he's? Sammy Davis Jr.
Aye.
Yeah.
So, a good, a nice bloke. As say, I met him a couple of times. Really good bloke.
Yeah.
Another occasion I can think of when I went through this research, he went to another England banquet, and he went into the wrong reception room, and he sat down at a table, and somebody came up to him and said, "Are you with the bride or the groom's family?" The wedding reception. The England reception was somewhere else in the hotel.
He'd been there half an hour as well.
He'd given a speech.
Well, he'd actually given the bride away.
Yeah.
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 So, just going back to last week's talk, Kath and Alan, about Alan Woodward time, there's one of our group here who's actually played football with Alan Woodward. Anyone like to hazard a guess who it was? And it wasn't me.
Paul the Biscuit.
No.
No, before my time. Used to train at Ball Inn though.
Anyone?
Dave the Fish has got a big grin on his face.
No,
I'm not that old.
not Dave the Fish.
You could have been a prodigy.
Oh, I
Not
am.
playing, is it?
I am.
Not
Yeah.
playing.
Keith Jackson played against him at cricket,
No, I'm talking football.
didn't
So-
you, Keith?
Yes, I
But
did.
nevertheless, when was that, Keith?
74.
Yes, at 70, yes. They used to come and play us at Retford. The team
Right.
used to come over and play us. And,
Keith got 72. Keith got 72.
Wow.
He was brilliant, but don't
Yeah.
tell anyone.
So, would that person like to reveal who it was, please?
Me.
Oh,
Big Paul.
It was Big Paul.
Big Paul. You
Right.
dark horse.
I
Would you
didn't know at
like-
the time. I didn't know I was playing against him. He always played in goal. It was
He's a Silkston common lad, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
My mates at that time were adjoining village from Silkston, and just a general, not a proper match, excuse me, a kickabout, general kickabout. And it's my brother-in-law, a Silkston lad, who said many times in a kickabout we played against him, but he always played in the goals.
Well, when Alan Hodgkinson got injured occasionally, he took over from Hodgie in goal.
He did, yeah. Yeah.
Well, famously keeping a clean sheet against dirty Leeds.
Against Leeds, yeah, I remember that.
You forgot the spit, Keith.
The other end.
Yeah, oh, sorry. And can anyone remember who scored that winning goal for the Blade?
Mick Hill.
Mick Hill.
Hill.
Header, far post.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's when the United
dear.
fans saying to the Leeds fans, you bought the wrong
one.
It's like being a United old person's home here.
No, we can remember.
It's like being in outbreak. You lot.
I know you're going to hate me for saying this, but I know what everybody's view is on Leeds, and you'll know more about football than me. But I still think Johnny Giles was a good footballer.
I hate you, Paul.
He was a very good footballer, but a nasty piece of work.
He was detestable.
Yeah. But I still thought he was a good footballer.
He was.
Same with Billy Bremner. He was a good footballer.
Right.
Dirty.
No, he wasn't.
He was. He got
He
skills.
wasn't. Not a footballer.
I thought
He
Giles
was
was
an
better than
effective
Bremner.
player.
Yeah. Chaps, we are now less than a minute, so thank you all for joining in. Glenn, you're in touch with us to make arrangements for some smaller groups.
Yeah, do that.
Hold on, Glenn.
And,
Thanks, Glenn.
All
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Lol.
Cheers, guys. Good to see
Well
you.
done, Lol. Well done.
Thank you, Lol.